Wow. Guys, we just finished seeing Rebel Moon Part 2. The Scargiver.
I hate these.
Give me one.
See, I hate these beers, but I will drink this.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I didn't think it could have been done though. I was like, I need to applaud Zach.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you're applauding Zach.
I didn't think he could get worse.
How dare you underestimate that man?
Wow. This is the most
fucking terrible.
This is the most. This is the most special film I have seen in a long time.
Yes.
This is gloriously stupid and wholly and totally cringy. This is an embarrassing watch. And Zack Synder needs to thank his VFX artists because that is the only people worth commending here. Zack Synder, completely untethered, unfiltered, left to his own devices to do whatever the fuck he wants, makes a generic, hilariously bad dialogue-filled film with no emotional resonance, just a bunch of pretty visuals from FX artists. Barely. And once again leans on the crutch of using better media like Seven Samurai, wholesale ripping off some of the most legendary films and franchises, and yet somehow still manages to do it worse. The only thing that could be said about this film is that it delivers in some of the action and the visuals, and Joe says no, not even, but I say yes. You have to be brain dead to, and my critic brain could not be turned off for this. The suspension of disbelief, the order in which things are shown, the absolute tripe dialogue. It's hilarious and it's embarrassing. And frankly, Joe made this point when we were watching it.
Which one?
No, maybe it was Alex. But I'm glad that the DCEU was taken away from Zack Synder, because if this is the level of characters, if this is the level of dialogue, if this is the level of emotional resonance and character arcs that we get, I'm glad he's no longer in charge of that. And I don't give a fuck if Zack comes out 3 days later and says, no. The Part 2 Scargiver, there's an R-rated version of this one, too, that'll make it better. In fact, I actually have 3 more hours of footage that I can add to this, and it'll make everything way better. And it'll add all the things that you want, like character development and great dialogue and awesome scenes and stuff like that. Guys, this was just fucking stupid. And outside of a few visuals, because it's pulling on things that I like Warhammer 40,000 and space lasers and shit like that, this is absolutely hollow. All right, that's my take on it. And frankly embarrassing and funny as fuck. So
yes.
Who's next?
I am embarrassed.
But wait. One more thing. I was expecting like some kind of fucking train wreck, right? I was actually getting excited about the release of this. And I will say, you fucking delivered, man. At least it wasn't so fucking boring that I was fucking falling asleep. We kept turning. Man, we need to do like a Red Letter Media style commentary track because we were laughing our fucking asses off. So I gotta say, in some weird way, I was having a great time. I have to admit. Y'all are shaking your heads. No, but
OJ was the funniest part of it.
Yes,
like,
OJ was making a lot of.
So it's like, just watch movies with OJ and you'll have a good time. Don't watch this expecting it to be funny. No.
I'm embarrassed to tell people that I've watched this, and I've pretty much been naked on the internet. So
diapers on the internet.
Yeah, this was fucking bad. I was bored the entire way through. I disagree with the firefights and everything. That was pretty fucking boring. This is something I will not go back and ever watch again. Because there's better battle scenes than this. it was not even worth my time. 50 minutes in, just about 50 minutes in, it's nothing but harvesting in slow motion.
Oh my God! Yeah,
50 minutes of
they
harvesting.
spent like 25 minutes of slow-mo sickle maneuvers.
It was fucking boring. And then we still had like another hour and 20 minutes of dumbass dialogue, stupid scenes. I hated every part. I don't care about the villagers.
Did you lower your expectations going into it?
Oh, I knew. Before Alex said, "Hey, now we gotta go watch Rebel Moon." I was
We
like,
just saw Ungentlemanly Warfare. Guys, even though one is free on Netflix, well, not free, if you have a Netflix subscription.
No, it costs you time. Don't.
Ungentlemanly Warfare, go see that.
It costs
Spend
you time.
your time on that.
Don't fucking do it.
Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Before I told Alex, "Oh, did you get the beers?" That's exactly what I said. Did you get the beers? Because I knew it was going to be fucking bad.
Yeah, he got
and
the
it was
beers.
worse than I thought. I fucking hated whatever chemistry they were trying to do between the villagers and the heroes. They're like, "Oh, I've made you this. I've gotten to know you for so long." I was like, "You've only been here for 3 days."
For 3 days? How
been
the
here
fuck
for 3
does she
days.
know all this guy's backstory
It's like-
unless they told her in a room, okay, this guy's
It's like,
backstory was
you
this,
are
this guy's
strong.
backstory
Here's
was
the
this."
mountain. You are sunshine. I was like, who's this? I don't know these characters. I don't remember these
As
characters.
if somebody who's never written a screenplay ever got the ability to write a huge budget screenplay. There's a moment
That's
in the
what
film
happened.
where they literally put back to back a bunch of
That was my next one.
exposition
I was like-
fucking backstories for each character back to back to back.
I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Are we doing this?
Yeah.
We're actually doing this.
Yeah, and it takes away from each one. It almost makes them parodies, almost hilarious versions, satire of a good Seven Samurai or Magnificent Seven, which by the end of this film, whereas you watch Seven Samurai and Magnificent Seven and you feel each character who gives their lives and sacrifices themselves. And there's an even higher body count in those films than there is here. You know you have a generic, watered down, poor imitation. It's sad.
Hated it. Alex.
Yeah, I hated it. That's it. That's all. Look, I've been trying to warn people about Zack Snyder for a long time.
Yeah, yes.
I mean, I
yes.
don't think he is not a talented writer. He's got an eye for some action sometimes, and he did good music videos or something. But anytime he's got the reins, he's gonna he is impossible to underestimate. It is so fucking crazy because you're like, there's no way he could be any dumber than we think he is, and he just fucking blows past
fucking
it,
did
and
it.
it's crazy.
Did it.
And
Zach, you fucking did it. And all.
And
That's
it's-
why I'm giving him praise.
It's crazy, and so the only thing, I'm impressed in a way that he was able to make something so incoherent and convince Netflix to spend $200 million.
Yeah.
And that's not including the marketing
much was
budget.
it?
So
Yeah.
it's over 160 something million, and they're expecting the marketing budget's more, up to 200. So I mean, this is. I hope they're money laundering or something. I hope that this is what they were going for. They knew it would be a colossal fucking failure because this guy can't write. He has. It's just unnecessary slow motion after unnecessary slow motion. And this is stuff we know him for. We knew he was going to throw in anyway, but it feels like he's doing a parody of himself on top of doing a parody of Star Wars and 40K and doing all these other things. I mean, all the problems of the first movie are the same problems with this one. So I mean, I don't want to parrot the same things, but it's just he's borrowing from better universes, from better writers, from smarter people, and he's making it for dudes who put holes in their fucking wall. And I don't understand what it is. You ever had that friend?
Yeah.
You walk in there, and there's a lot of fist holes in their walls, and you're like, oh, you got emotional problems, bro.
Oh, this is fucking sweet, man.
And then this isn't a good movie under any circumstance. I actually don't think so. You did a disservice to humanity earlier by saying that this was a fun watch. And I want to reiterate, it is fun if you're watching specifically with this guy.
We had fun.
But
we
it's only
had fun
because he is so checked out.
Yeah.
But it's like you will not have that
made
experience
jokes.
unless he is in the room
We
with
make
you.
good jokes.
So-
Unless you watch it with friends and you're drinking beers and you're making fun of it, that's when you're going to have a good time. It's one of those where it's not painfully boring. And we've seen some goddamn painfully boring. It's shocking how incompetent, how it's like confident incompetence.
It's weaponized.
And that's why
incompetence.
it's so fascinating to watch. He's like, are we supposed to be taking this serious?
Yeah, I don't like his style, and I don't like this movie, and I don't think that you should watch it under any circumstance. And look, even the people who are fan, like the audience score from the first one is higher than this one so far.
What is this? What are we doing? What is the audience score? Didn't you pull
It's
it up?
41 for this one. It was 57 for Laugh.
So the 16% critics for this film,
21 critics.
41% for this film audience.
Yeah.
Not even the dude bros and everybody that forgives is like, look, I just want to forget my problems for a little, 2 hours. Not even they can get up over the 50%. And then what's part one?
Part one was critics was 21.
21, so
57.
slightly better. And then 57, slightly
sad.
better. Okay.
It's real sad.
Do we have to see part 3?
Yeah, Joe,
Well, they
I
haven't
was just
started
about
filming
to
yet.
fucking bring this
Can they-
up.
can
The
they not?
future... Huh?
Can they not?
No, I cannot fucking wait for
I don't
part
want it.
3.
I don't care.
I can't fucking wait. In April 2024, co-writer Kurt Johnstad announced that though original plans were for a trilogy, God, no. I thought we were done at part 2, but I did hear rumblings of a third film that they're doing. So, original plans for a trilogy, the franchise will eventually consist of a total of 6 films. And each film will be a part 1, part 2 of a trilogy. The guy's like, we're going to do a trilogy of 6 films. You don't know what the fuck a trilogy means. So you're doing part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, part 6, and then each is 2. So then that's a trilogy with 3 films. Each installment to be expanded into 2 parts. The writer stated that the treatments are completed for the 3rd and 4th movie.
Treatments? What, penicillin?
Treatments and Snyder is currently writing the 3rd film. Okay, God. So
Let's
like
hope he
a
runs
lot
out
of this is
crayons.
not actually done completely. It's done in crayons. I love it. And he's currently writing the 3rd film. So I don't know. I guess based upon the numbers that Netflix is seeing, they're going to green light perhaps a 3rd one. I don't know if they can fucking squeeze Netflix for another 6, but it seems ridiculously easy to get the money from Netflix to do anything.
Money laundering, allegedly. It's wild to me. Like there's nothing of value. Art as a whole is worse.
Yeah.
After this was put out today, like as for film, it's gotten worse collectively. Writing for whatever we call it writing, but the messy crayons and
It's
like
so
the
gloriously
I don't know
stupid.
what you guys are talking about.
I think it's hilarious. Is there anybody out there that agrees with me that watching this? Joe, you watch bad movies all
yes,
the fucking
but
time.
this is different.
What?
But we're wrong, though, because like Michael said, probably one of the best sci-fi movies of the year. And Lewis said the epicness went higher. The emotional moments went deeper. All right, the action was on a higher level. The
Yes.
characters had the time to know each other, other than the last time
Because it's half a movie. This cannot even be classified as a movie. It is part 2. It is 1/2 of a full film because Zack doesn't know how to fucking tell a story in a reasonable amount of fucking time. Every goddamn film he makes has to be 6 hours
is
long.
great.
And if it's fucking 6 hours, then of course there's going to be some character development by the end of it. But when a motherfucker takes 6 hours to tell a simple story that's been done better in 2 hours or less previously by other directors and writers, something's done fucked up.
No, see, Joe, what's going to fix everything is more of this content.
Don't you say the R-rated version.
What's going to
When you
happen is
release the cut.
he's going to give us more content
direct.
of bad content, and then somehow it'll make everything
How about
better.
you get it right the fucking first time?
No.
They film completely different scenes according to Zack Snyder for the
hater.
R-rated version in part 1, and he can't wait for people to see the real version of Rebel Moon. If you didn't like the first Rebel Moon, you definitely like the real version of Rebel Moon with exclusive scenes and curse words and more blood.
Oh.
Pass.
As if that will completely change all of the problems with this film. Okay, guys, so a lot of the problems we had in part 1 was a lack of character development, was a lack of caring about the characters. Now, in part 2, with literal 10 minutes character segment scenes of exposition and their backstories, do you now care about the characters? Did that fix the problem of the first film?
No, because
we spent way more time with the characters.
No, because of the way they did it. They did it so poorly. Like, all right, now tell me your story. Now tell me your story. Now you tell me your story. It's like, are we seriously fucking doing this?
Sleep.
It's worse than that because he gets up, Titus gets up to the table and he's like, I'm not one for confessions, but I have a confession to make. And then he tells the most badass story about how he's really cool. And it's like, how is this a confession?
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm telling everybody how much of a good guy I am, but you didn't know how much of a gooder guy I was.
And then he cries the entire scene when everyone else is telling their stories. And it's like, what the fuck?
The worst part with the Korean sword lady tells her story.
Oh, with her haunted gloves that taught her to fight.
Apparently, her fucking her robot gauntlets that she had to use because she cut off her own arm because she didn't want to fight, so she cuts her own arm off. Then ghostly gauntlets teach her how to fight. It's a
metaphor.
And then you cut to Titus, who is literally crying. This is the most beautiful story I've ever heard.
Ah, yes.
And I laughed out loud. It was hilarious. Next. Yours.
Very good.
Next.
My God.
And then the girl Millie, I don't remember her name.
Okay, we call her Millie, but the dollar store Furiosa was the most hilarious. Furiosa. No, John, I need something better than Furiosa. Oh man, her back. What was her backstory?
She was enslaved. Her entire village was killed, and then she was sent to a work camp, and she was rescued by the rebels.
Got it. And then Tarak's backstory is that they have an army of griffins in the air, and his mother, while being attacked, her planet was being attacked, she threw herself off the balcony. Why?
But told him, he's like, you will never be a man as long as your father lives.
What kind of dialogue is this? She taught me when I was young that you're never truly a man until your father dies. What the fuck are you talking about? What happens if your father lives to like 96 and you're like fucking 72 years old?
It's deep,
I'm not
Joe.
A man yet.
It's deep. You just don't get it.
This script, if you taped it to your windshield, should allow you to park in handicapped spaces.
Zack Synder will always get to park wherever he wants after this.
Sir, this is for the people with special needs.
And then he turns
he's
around.
Like, I'm Zack Synder. He's like,
okay, so you can go ahead, sir.
Would you like some crayons? I have a juice box.
Don't mind if I
you
do.
need to write You need to write part 6 of your 3rd movie in your 6-movie trilogy.
Yeah. And then the entire time they're walking the building, Zach's like, yeah, and then I want to write a scene where Batman, the Batman gets sexually assaulted. And it's like, wait, what?
And then I want Batman to get butt fucked. Wait, what? We're not making this up.
That's actually what he wanted.
Look it up. Zack Snyder wanted Batman to be R-worded, YouTube. Wanted to be R-worded in the lore, and I'm like, God damn. He must be on his best behavior when he's out in front of, like, the DC executives and the WB, and a second he walks out the door, that's when all the crazy ideas happen. Like, we had a bunch of crazy ideas here, and they managed to rein him in. It's like, what if we do 7 Samurai? What if you do 7 Samurai?
But
and then that kind of focused him in on, specific
He still
things.
tried to throw in the scene that, he throws in all of his movies.
The R scene, he did in part 1. Guys, I fucking think this is gloriously fucking stupid and cringy and entertaining. I'm fucking smiling my ass off. And what was the line that you said that it was workplace abuse?
Movie critics should be able to sue their employers. That was a comment on Reddit. Should be able to sue their employers for abuse for being forced to see this movie.
Yeah.
Their critic brains. Oh my God. Oof. Glorious. So stupid. So bad. So cringy. Ending in a culmination of a final fight where Cora and the villain Admiral Noble are fighting each other hand to hand with some swords this time, and they're sliding down a platform that has been knocked vertical, just like the first film. Basically, just done over, but more epic this time. And
It's epicness.
it's epicness, and then what happens is then the troops go down to the surface and they shoot. And then there's a second wave right after them that shoot afterwards. They were walking the whole time. So we have the battle in the village, but there was the second wave that you didn't know about that was walking the whole time for no purpose because we just want to waste the fuel. By the way, we need all the grain, so we're running out of food. Let's just waste all the fuel by walking for no reason all that way.
None of it makes sense.
None of it makes sense. It's so hilarious, and I cannot wait to get to fucking spoilers. So let's go ahead and summarize. Is there anything else in here? Is there any good moments? Any new characters that popped up? No new character. There
Good
was
moments?
one.
Where?
There was Callius or whatever, which was the commander of the Dreadnought. We didn't see him in the first one. At least I didn't notice him in the first one. And he has no fucking purpose other than to, when the villain gets crazy, it's like, fire upon everybody, sir. Our men are down there. Fire upon them. And like, okay. And that was his purpose.
I just hate how Admiral Noble, after he gets resurrected, he's like, "Sir, we can remove your scars." Like, no, leave it. I was like, "Is that it?" It's like, bro, I got bigger scars than you do.
I had to start.
So
I had to stop.
stupid.
I had to pause the movie at the point where
The
he's like,
Scargiver,
she gave me a
scars.
scar. And I was like, Joe,
Let's
did
call
he
it-
just say the Scargiver gave me a scar? And I was like, so she was called Scargiver before the movie is showing how she gave him a scar?
She likes to scar people before
like-
she kills them or hurts them.
Entreating the audience, you gave me this scar. And when I present my body, I will present my...
That one.
That the
he's like, where?
Scargiver gave
Where?
me the
He's
scar.
right
'Cause
there.
She gave people scars.
It's a small
She's
scar.
the scar giver. Joe, it wasn't that small of a scar. I don't understand. Let me see your big ass scar, Joe.
No, I can't do it here.
All right.
It's on his booty hole.
Anyways, that's it, guys.
Fucking terrible. Ready?
Let's go ahead
2.
and give it a fucking rating. Go
This is a
ahead.
fucking 2. I was fucking bored out of my mind. I shit you not. I was like, there's not enough beer to fix this. I checked out. I was just making dumbass commentary. I
Yeah, but that
hated-
was hilarious commentary.
Yeah, but that, so I give LJ a 9.
Okay.
OJ's score for watching the movie
All
a
right.
9.
Maybe,
I'm giving
maybe
Rebel
that's
Moon Part
mixing.
2 a 2.
We should have fucking recorded it. I swear to God, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Because I checked out. Like, I seriously did not give a shit if you want to be like, oh, you weren't paying attention. Yeah, you're right. I wasn't.
No,
'Cause I-
don't say that. I was watching Joe the whole time. He was
I
paying
was
attention.
bored.
We were talking about every fucking
Yes,
scene.
we were. I hated this movie. It was fucking
When he
boring.
means checked out, you mean that you are, what is it?
It's
Your,
done.
your suspension of disbelief has been,
Part
punched
1.
out. And
That
sometimes
happened part
movies
1.
can pull us back. And it has.
Yes.
That has happened recently. I forgot what film it was. Monkey Man. Monkey Man punched me out, but eventually got me back in the third
Yeah,
act.
then I think Argyle, too.
You got punched out at the beginning of
Part 1.
this one. Yeah, but also
beginning of part
this
one,
one.
yeah.
I know y'all got punched out at the beginning of part 1.
Yeah, I did. Okay, for real, yeah, I did when it was like a fucking hour of harvesting in slow motion. He's trying to be all cinematic. He's dipping his water, filling it up, slow motion, pouring it all over his body or whatever. I was like,
Joe's like, why
all right,
did he put his
man.
hand in the clean water?
yeah,
lens right there.
It's fucking dumb. I was checked out. I don't care, but there's still no character development here. I don't care about any of the fucking characters. There's no one that I was like, oh, maybe this one will change my mind. None of that. Story still trash. Poor Anthony Hopkins is still being like, well, I guess I have to do this.
The
He
robot,
says
yeah.
it. He says it. He's like,
By the
I
way,
have
we
to.
never learned where he got the fucking antlers or his feralness in his cape, and I kept thinking he might show up fucking, Gandalf style at the fucking, but it's disappointing.
Yeah, lame fights. I hated the battle scene, even the climax where Admiral Noble was fighting with Korra. Stupid. It was
I think that the explosions were cool. You say the explosions weren't even cool.
No.
I think they were cool. But we're talking about like
Okay, yeah.
one Tic Tac in a fucking bottle of fucking.
It's like a 2-hour movie. I was like, well, the explosions were cool.
That's me.
That's
The
Yeah.
four, yeah.
2.
I think this is an aggressively bad movie. I think it's horribly written, and if this should if you have 2 movies like this, you should be kicked out of the movie industry. And this is his 3rd.
You shouldn't be given 200 million. It says, to be fair, it says 166 million
Before
but that's
advertising.
before advertising.
Yeah. So this is aggressively bad. I do think that the action scenes are horribly the main characters. One guy has an axe. He has 2 axes with no shirt, and he's flexing because look, he's got killer abs.
Yeah.
Killer abs. That was surprising. He killed someone with his abs.
Every single shot misses.
But he's standing up in the middle of a firefight, and they're not taking cover. So I don't think it's competently shot action scenes.
not.
It's stupid. This is worse than comic book, and you forgive it in a comic book because you only have 1 frame, and you're like, oh, I'm supposed to imagine that he's getting to cover between frames. No, they are purposely not doing this.
Yeah.
So it's like you've failed as a director, as a cinematographer. Awful. Fucking awful. And I haven't thought he's even capable of writing in years.
Yeah,
so
no,
it's
I agree with that
So what
completely.
do you get points for? The movie ran, and there was sounds, and I guess stuff happened.
all of the visuals you had, you ripping off from other
from
properties.
better things. So it's I don't give you any credit for the premise because it wasn't your premise. I give you no credit for the characters because you didn't develop any of them. I didn't like any of the battle scenes. Yes, some of the explosions looked okay, but it's they were probably canned VFX that someone used in a different product that Netflix had paid someone else for. So it's I don't know what to give this movie points for. So I'm not giving it a 1 because, like I said, it ran. It turned on. So I think I give it the lowest possible score I can for a movie that ran a 2. I don't think this is a good movie, and I don't think it has any value to you unless you have someone in your crew that is funny as shit, and you got to give them a lot of beer or something because.
That's what happened with us.
Yeah, this is our first. We weren't drinking well. I wanted to give this movie a fair shake, and it didn't deserve it, and so don't watch it.
Yeah, I agree completely. It's difficult. Let me describe this to you. In the final battle, in the climactic moment of the film, where a character dies, we have the most pathetically hilarious dialogue, sappy music playing, and trying to make you feel something for this character's death. And all I could say was, they died because they were fucking stupid. The way Zack filmed it. This person has a shot on 2 of the most evil characters in the universe, and it's this person. They are threatening this person's love. And the way it is shot,
know who it is.
he sits there and stares for I don't know how long.
About 30 minutes.
And basically is the cause of his own stupidity and fucking death. And then not 3 minutes later, the music fucking goes whoa and ramps up and all this and shut up! Just shut the fuck up with your fucking drivel. None of this was effective. None of it worked. It was all fucking stupid. And it's really, really bad.
I can't wait for spoilers because I want to talk about this one scene.
I want to talk about many scenes,
Yes.
Joe. All right. So I'm giving it... But then Joe fucked up the film for me because I think I had a great fucking time.
He's making dumbass jokes.
I think I was way too kind to the first Rebel Moon and giving it a 4, a 3 or a 4. Was
You
it
gave it a 4.
I gave it a 4. Y'all gave it a 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so but to me it was all right, Zack finally gets to go do something different and unique, and that Warhammer 40,000 got to me, and all these things got to me, and I was like, I'm gonna give you a chance. That's a generous score, but then to see the rest of it is executed at the very same level or worse, guys, worse. It's if only Zack would have attempted to develop his characters. Well, he attempts to develop his characters here and fails spectacularly.
Miserably.
And I will say this film has much better action than the first film. And that's what's hyping it up for me. I love explosions, I love space lasers, I love tanks, I love battalion tactics of people but it has to make sense.
But I would say-
have to have the fucking characters behind it. I can't have the initial battle and then after the initial battle is over and many people die and here comes the second wave, then you burst through and then there's more gunfire. It's but why didn't you burst through the first time and half the villagers wouldn't have fucking died? stupid shit like that. It just so there's better action but worse character development in my eyes, and the fact that he gets a chance to, does it, and fails at it is worse. So I'm gonna go with a 3 out of 10. I think 3 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
Guys, we cannot wait to go into the spoiler section and talk about these individual scenes. It's going to be a long one. I might have to split this into 2 videos because there's so much stupidity. And in fact, you would have to watch this 2 times or more to really, and I cannot wait for all the video essays that other channels are going to do on this, because I enjoyed the fuck out of watching a lot of video essays on the first at how stupid it is. And this one is stupider. At least that film had some setups and it was like, okay, maybe this can be fixed in the final. In the final, none of it is fixed. It's just a bunch of gunfire and explosions without any of the characters and resonance. So that's it for us.
Don't fucking watch it.
Thank you so much. Or watch it with mini beers and with your funniest friends, and you'll have a great time, okay? All right, so we'll see you in the spoiler section.